this out right here. You see this right here? Look, wait.
That's one of them?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 15 more.
How much per pound?
Garbage. Garbage. Right here. What would you do if you controlled all the food? What would you do if you controlled all the water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water?
What if all liquid assets were past tense? The greatest resource on the planet evaporated, not knowing how we gon' make it with no water or food access. Trying to survive in a city dilapidated, where you find your greatest haters reside at your neighbor's address. The competition for living becomes priority. Indentured citizens not willing to die morally, killing to sustain life, all the while we yield our bodies to higher authority. Rationed off like prohibition, they tap us all for our high body water percentage. The focus on preserving our core becomes essential. No cap, we need leaders of aqua who finna spring up out the trenches, hoping and praying for some rainfall. Not like thirsty niggas in the club making it rain, sweating the same broad. Shower our people with optimism, break us out of prison so control of our water systems becomes our main cause.
What would you do if you controlled all the food? What would you do if you controlled all the water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? What would you do if you controlled all the food? What would you do if you controlled all the water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? If I controlled the food and water, I would fence up my borders, build massive reservations under military order. My soldiers would receive food and water for free. Ma'am, if you want water, spread them yams respectfully. 1 gallon of my purified water supply trades for 10 gallons of oil. I would outlaw farming soil and erect numerous dams. If you want faucet water, pay me my demands. My dams power plants, oxygen and electricity in my hand. I would embargo canals, exploit biotechnology, co-humans beneath my supreme sovereignty. I would keep any threat to me fascinated by shiny. Can't afford my spring water, I'd sell it cheap or dirty. My good deed is giving food stamps with supplements. Work harder if you want better nutrition. I would send celebrities to proposition communities to let me build tracks and factories and boom economies, cause I can't have those chemicals on my reserves. All my cucumbers will look like pickled preserves. The food I sell to y'all, I remove the seeds from it, so now y'all can swallow my juice with ease. Suck it. Who wanna live in proximity to food and water? Follow my laws and live under newer order. Line up in numerical order. Purchase, package, process food and bottled water. I'll arrest them if you got smoke with your neighbors. Love is commercial behavior designed by my social anchors. Population elastic, snap back and still eat plastic with no focus in the vision of a toddler. Don't judge me, penny to the left copper. World watchers, save the world for what? Save the world for who? Master of the you. What would you do if you controlled all the food? What would you do if you controlled all the water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? What would you do if you controlled all the food? What would you do if you controlled all the water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water? What would you do if you controlled the food and water?